What's going on, folks? Painless. Uh, Hit you with a video. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze in. I know, of course, obviously, I'm gonna get this one in, and I may squeeze in another video. I'm sporadic like that, but a lot has gone on, folks. Um, since my last video, like in terms of society, social media, like that. But I think what's important to me, of course, the situation with um, Charlie Kirk, and that's probably going to be my next video. Um, but yeah, I wanted to really, this is what's really, you all see the title and things of that nature. But Defense or War Department Secretary Pete Hegseth, uh, and the things that he said in his meeting with numerous generals, top commanders, officials within our military ranks, all five branches of the United States military. And I had a chance to listen to some of the things that Defense Secretary Hegseth was saying. And this is the issue. And I've said this, folks, and I'm going to tie President Trump into this as well, because obviously Secretary Hegseth works and was nominated by President Trump to be in charge of the War Department, formerly known as the Defense Department, DOD, Department of Defense, the largest agency within the federal government. I mean, it didn't bother me at all. This is what needs to be done. And I said this, what I said about Trump, tying President Trump into this. President Trump is trying to correct behavior, folks. He's trying to correct behavior. We've lost so much of what has made America up to this point, so to the point to where you can talk shit the way that you do. America wasn't always like that. Men built this. You see, and see this, and I'll tie this in kind of with the manospheric kind of movement that's been going on, as far as I've known. When I listened to Secretary Hegseth, he sounded just like some shit I would say that I've been saying for over a decade. He's sounding like guys I've listened to on the street, veterans that I know, combat veterans, everyday guys. He's saying stuff that I've heard numerous guys on social media say, YouTube and things like that, that not only have they been said, I've heard this stuff over 10 years ago. How all we do, and I've said this in some of my videos when I was in, and I've been out over 20 years. I've said that, for y'all don't know, I was prior Army. I am a combat vet, honorably discharged, decorated. And the stuff, like going to numerous meetings. Back in the day, I don't know if they have it now in the Army. I can't speak for any other branches, but I've worked in other branches of the military in a civilian capacity. But I remember that in the Army, it had this program called SHARP, and it was something to do with sexual harassment and stuff like that. And they beat our asses in the head with that. And it was kind of a good thing because it taught it. What I took from it is I don't play with women at work. I'm not at women's desks talking, not doing my damn job, getting caught up in some scandal at work because I'm trying to chase women. So that's what I took from it. But it was all right when I got out, that's when the military went full retard with the PC culture. Like, I went into the military in 97. So my generation, and I've said this in life, like if you a Gen Xer like that, we're that last generation. We got the last tail end of ass beatings in public and nobody said nothing. You know, I would get troops come out of basic training because I got out as a staff sergeant. And I would get troops and I was like, man, this is wild. Like, what's going on with you guys? What are they, it was very, I noticed they slip in physical performance. Guys was coming in, their runs wasn't as good or up to standard. It was more like a run of the mill. Stress cards and things of that nature. So I remember those things, the change in training and in physical performance standards, things of that nature. So not to just dwell on me, but I seen it, and I've talked to other guys and women that served, because I served with women as well in the service. And we know this, folks, and a lot of people are talking about what Secretary Hegseth said about women. See, everybody knows this shit, but he just has the gall to say, AKA course correcting. What Trump and his administration is doing with a lot of this stuff is trying to course correct. Oh, why, Painless? Because he sees America going off a damn cliff. If we keep with this PC, spending money to hell, not cutting unnecessary programs, America is screwed. Well, I'm not, I do know that much. I don't know how much we're screwed. Is it just the tip or is it the whole shaft? But I know we're going to get screwed if we keep going the way that we're going. And you can't have a military where your recruits can't even walk from here to the damn 7-Eleven down the street. You can't have that. You can't be 18 years old with already 32% body fat. So now we gotta see, when I went into the military, and not to make it all about Painless, I was like 6'1", 179. And I could run like a deer. I never ran 2 miles in my life. But you know what? I came out my mama womb working. I played sports. I always was physical. I grew up in Alabama in the country. You worked. Hauling wood, throwing hay. I used to do some work with one of my uncles was a carpenter. So picking up pieces of plywood and taking it and lifting it up to the next man and all, just always moving and working. But I never ran 2 miles. But when I went into the military, I had like 12% body fat. And I didn't even know what the hell body fat was like that. But you got these youngsters coming out 6, I don't know what, between 5'8" and 6'3" with 32 goddamn percent body fat. So I got to strip you, because they already strip you in the military. That's what the military does in basic training. They strip you, or you ain't no longer who you was on the back home. And we're going to build you up to be a soldier or a Marine or a sailor or airman or whatever. But now I got to ply through this 32% body fat. You don't go outside all day because you're playing Fortnite and watching anime. And that shit needs to change, because around the world, it's not like that. This, you know what I'm saying? It's not like that. Just like I said about these HB1 visas and Trump charging all this money. He's trying to help y'all asses, because these Chinese, these Koreans, these Indians are coming over here and taking your jobs because the school system sucks. Because they're not teaching the appropriate subjects in order to catapult America into the future. No more English lit degrees. No more history. No more African studies. That shit is useless. We need STEM and other things of that nature. And that all ties into the military. No more endless briefings about not offending nobody. And we live in like I said, a lot of people were upset about the women in combat arms. I've said this shit so long, and I've talked to guys so much, and everybody is lock and step about this. Women do not need to be on a damn tank. Women do not need to be on a Bradley fighting vehicle. Be in HR and finance and stuff like that. Well, men are there too. Well, you know what? That's precisely. We can do what y'all do. Y'all can't do what we do. I read an article where this woman was saying, it was one on Politico, I think it was, and they always use the rarest example. Well, this woman, I'm a weightlifter, and I'm stronger than some of the guys. You are a rarity. You are an outlier. The common woman doesn't have the grip strength to manipulate nature. I remember Kevin Samuels used to say that. That's what makes us different. You can't do what we do. We can do what y'all do, minus having kids. And that's what men ain't trying to, I don't know now these days, but most men ain't trying to have kids. You see, women always want to be in our goddamn spaces. Whoa, what are the guys? Where are all the guys? Where are they at? Oh, what are they doing? Man, we don't give a damn what y'all do. But y'all always want to get in our goddamn business and what we doing. And Defense Secretary Hegseth is saying no more. Women do not belong in combat arms. And if that offends you, oh, the hell well. Oh, well. And this thing with beards and black, of course, The article alluded to black men, and I've seen this all the time. I've had a shaven profile when I was in, but I couldn't grow no goddamn tinny, a big old Allah Akbar. Get out the military. You can grow your beard as big as you want, but it's standards. If you don't like it, don't join the service. See, again, the so-called black community has fell into this whole idea. It's really kind of feminine, if you ask me. We're going to infiltrate and make you change how you do things, and if you don't allow us to, you're racist. You're not being inclusive. So when I see these brothers on Twitter and TikTok with big ass beards in uniform, I hope they tune their asses up. Have them on that carpet. When you don that uniform, you've lost. You know what the term GI means? Government issue, which means the government owns your ass. So you in uniform talking crazy, I hope they tighten your ass up. A15. I'm seeing these E6s and E7s and majors on TikTok in uniform talking shit about their boss, Defense Secretary Hegseth. That's crazy. And that's precisely the type of behavior that needs to be rectified and changed and course corrected. That type of shit right there. And he said that. Getting online, talking about your CO, your commanders. I mean, shit, who doesn't talk shit about their commander or their top, their first sergeant? But we ain't getting online. And guess what? We're going to do it what they say. If not, it's 45-45. I know my brother Nick Taylor, he know about that. Hooking your ass up, 45-45. You don't want their 45-45. But yeah, it needs to be addressed. It was very refreshing to hear Secretary Hegseth, the things he said. I didn't get one racial bone in my, and see, and let me address this race shit in the military. When all the way up to staff sergeant, I know back in the day when I was in, you would have to go to PLDC, which is Primary Leadership Development Course. Usually you were E5 promotable, and you had to have certain points, like courses. I forget the name of the proper name, but you had to have points, like, and they fluctuated. Like maybe for your particular job, MOS, to be an E5, your points, I know usually the combat arms guys, shit, their points were super low. Like I remember seeing 27-year-old E7s back when I came in. And that's a lot of responsibility as a 27-year-old in combat arms. But your points would fluctuate. So you go to PLDC, and then to get the rank of staff sergeant, usually it was a E5 school. Well, it's a staff sergeant school, but you were sergeant for a couple years. You get the points for that. You go to that school, BNOC. I know they changed the name, Basic Non-Commissioned Officer Course, and that was more of a still keeping you abreast of general non-commissioned enlisted operations in knowledge and skill, but it was also more job-based, So if you was an engineer, you learn how to be, you sharpen your skills on top of general enlisted non-commissioned officer knowledge with your MOS, your job specialty. And then you had ANOC, Advanced Non-Commissioned Officer Course, where you were striving to be an E7, and so on. Yeah, first sergeant school. It wasn't until, and let me dispel this racist myth. From E1 to E5 to E6 rather, ain't nobody stopping your ass but you. I had white, Hispanic NCOs that pushed, I didn't need pushing, but supported me. I never had, I mean, yeah, you had people talk shit, but there's no way to be in that from E1 to E6 unless you just a knuckle dragger. I mean, the mechanism isn't there. It's yours for the taking in the military, in the army. Because you know why? Because they'll put your ass out. Oh, you been an E4? You talking about you gonna be an E4 for 8 years? Oh no, we finna get your ass up out of here. QMP, we getting rid of you. Because you're taking up space. Now I will say once you start trying to be an E7, a senior non-commissioned, that's the senior DA approved. I know back in the day, you would have to actually take a DA photo in your class A, looking professional, looking clean, ready to go. It was like an interview, and you had to send it to the Department of the Army headquarters, and they would select. Now, somebody could be like, oh, a black guy, but I've never heard of that. So I think the military was one of the great ways where uh, you could get advancement without any issues with color and stuff. No, I told you times I used to go back home and like, you gonna fight the white man's war? Yeah, while you stand outside this package store, you still out here. You was out here when I was a teenager. I'm a grown man and I've advanced more than you. So what the hell is you talking about, white man's war? So, but yeah, just because you can't grow a damn beard the way you want or wear your hair the way you want, look, you in the military. I remember when this shit used to be discussed with black women in their hair back in the day in military, in the army. The same shit. Now it's just worse. But yeah, I just gonna say, hey, I support Secretary Hegseth's message. Commanders need to lead from the front. No more useless PowerPoints. Hold people to standard. And if you can't meet them standards, we rolling your ass up out of here. Cut them damn beards. You're not on the block. You want to be on the block, get out. We're enforcing standards because if we don't, we're going to get left. It's just going to be, it's already bad. They're already having issues with recruitment. But yeah, painless out.